Miss Pugh, don't speak over me. Miss Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on. Listen, Miss Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me.
Where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
You can go back with the bailiff. Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney.
Today, we're in for quite the courtroom showdown. On one side, a no-nonsense judge. On the other, a so-called sovereign citizen armed with nothing more than a tiny scrap of paper and a rehearsed script. It seems like they truly believe they could outmaneuver the legal system with a few buzzwords, only to face a harsh reality check. Will this bold strategy work, or is this about to turn into a lesson in how the law actually operates? Stick around to see how it all unfolds, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments.
Okay.
For the record, I recognize Ms. Pugh. She's been here before.
I do as well, for the record.
And I looked into Mr. Christopher Wiley. I can't find that person as a practicing lawyer in the state bar page, and I have not been contacted by anybody on Ms. Pugh's behalf.
All right, so Ms. Pugh, Mr. Lewis has been appointed to represent you at this point. Obviously, you know as well as anyone that you're in custody and we want to get your case taken care of. If you've hired or your family has hired another lawyer, then they have to contact the court so that we can do something with your case. And do you know if they've hired someone?
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree with your appointed foreign agents, considering that the first duty is to the state and will be considered conflict of interest.
Okay, so if you don't want, the only thing I can do, I'm appointing an attorney to you to help you, right? So if you don't want a court-appointed attorney, then your only option, two things. One is to represent yourself or to hire a lawyer. So if you don't like the way it works, then you do something different. So are you, listen to what I'm saying. Are you either going to represent yourself, or are you going to let Mr. Lewis represent you, or are you going to hire someone?
Objection, Your Honor. Respectfully, is this a court of record?
It is a court of record. So your objection's overruled.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
It's right here. It's called an indictment. And Mr. Lewis has a copy of it, and he can show it to you. So that would be the verified claim against you.
Okay. Your Honor, respectfully, Your Honor, there were writs that was filed to the case that still haven't been received.
I've received your petition for writ of habeas corpus, and it's denied.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, I demand to be released due to lack of evidence of stated claim and not being given the proper opportunity to obtain proper counsel, defective defense.
It's overruled.
Okay.
You're right.
This is a courtroom moment you just have to see. Right now, we're watching someone confidently recite the classic sovereign citizen script, only to face a judge who isn't buying a word of it. The patience on display here is impressive. But let's be honest, this is not going to end the way she thinks. It's always fascinating how people believe they discovered a secret legal loophole that will make charges vanish. But time and time again, courts have ruled that simply saying, "I don't consent," doesn't erase legal consequences. That's just not how jurisdiction works. What's surprising is that she seems polite and well-mannered, even addressing the judge respectfully, yet she's completely lost in this misguided belief system. How did she end up this deep in the rabbit hole? What was the thought process that led her here? Let me know what you think. Because while it's one thing to be curious about these ideas, actually walking into court and trying it, that's a whole different level. And trust me, this hearing is far from over. Let's see how it plays out. Next voice, next voice. Well, that was something. But don't go anywhere, because this story isn't over yet. Believe it or not, this sovereign citizen makes a return for another hearing, and of course, I've got all the details for you. At this point, I feel like the judge deserves an award for patience. Dealing with someone like this is basically like arguing with a brick wall, except the brick wall thinks it's a legal expert. Big respect to the judge for staying calm while trying to untangle all this nonsense. She's definitely firm, but also surprisingly patient, which is impressive. What do you think of how the judge is handling this? Personally, I think she's doing a solid job balancing authority with restraint. But let's jump into the next hearing and see if things escalate even further. Buckle up. This isn't over.
Position, but listen,
Respectfully, Your Honor,
Ms. Pugh, don't
with my
speak over me.
incarceration- Respectfully, Your Honor, with my incarceration being
Ms.
involved-
Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on, listen to me. Everything you have there is overruled. And here's one of the reasons why, is because you have a lawyer. And your lawyer will file the appropriate motion. You're interrupting me again, which is disrespectful. So I'm going to leave Mr. Lewis as your attorney unless you choose to represent yourself or hire someone else. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to determine what you're going to do. You can go back. You can go back with the bailiff.
I do not agree or comply to your appointed
Go back.
agents.
You already said that, and that's overruled.
Duty is to the state.
Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney or represent yourself if you don't like it.
I swear, I saw that coming a mile away. At this point, these sovereign citizens have practically taken up space in my brain. I've analyzed so many of their arguments that I can predict them before they even speak. And honestly, it's exhausting. Beyond the absurdity, there's a real issue here. Not only do these misguided legal theories get people into serious trouble, but they also waste valuable public resources. Courts and law enforcement already have limited time and funding, yet these cases keep piling up because of baseless legal arguments. Interestingly, this time around, she didn't bring her little script from the last hearing. Maybe her time in county jail convinced her to memorize it instead. But here's the real question. Will she actually try to represent herself? Because if she does, she could be facing some serious time, possibly 8 to 10 years.
Given he's trying to get caught up real quickly on all the information and the discovery in your case, I'm going to reset your case so that he can get all of that. Once he gets it, he'll be out there to go over it with you, and we'll see if we can get an announcement at the next court date.
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree to comply with any of the appointed court agents, considering that their first duty is to the state.
I understand. We've had this conversation before.
Confidential. And for your record, I'll be representing myself.
So if you want to represent yourself, there's some things. Ms. Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me. If you want to represent yourself, then there is a process that we have to go through, and we'll do that today if that's what you want to do. We'll get your case set for trial and we'll go forward that way. It is highly inadvisable for you to represent yourself. Lawyers have many, many years of training. They understand the law. They understand how a trial works, because here's what happens. When you're in a trial and you represent yourself, you're expected to know and follow all of the rules of evidence, all the rules of procedure. And so you're really at a disadvantage if you don't know those things. And so you have to do everything just like the assistant district attorney would. And if you don't, you're going to be in front of a jury and it's going to show, and it's just not going to be, it usually does not work out in your benefit. But I have to go through with you some questions first before we do that. And then if you still want to do that, then there's a couple of things couple of options, and we'll go over those as well. Okay. So I am supposed to ask you, I'm going to go through these questions. I need you to answer them if you want to represent yourself, because this is required. All right. So have you ever studied the law? Okay. Have you ever represented yourself before in any kind of criminal matter? Okay. Do you understand the charges against you?
I'm never been accused of.
Okay. And so do you know, and we've gone over before, I think, what the range of punishment is if you're found guilty on a jury? Do you know what that is? Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me pull you up here. We'll go over that again as well. The date of that allegations from June 22nd of 2021. And what that means is if you're found guilty, that the range of punishment that the jury could give you is between 2 years as a minimum punishment up to 10 years in prison, anywhere in between. Do you understand? And you answer out loud just for the record.
Do I understand? No, I don't understand.
What do you not understand?
I have to say this judge handled the situation flawlessly, easily a 10 out of 10. Let me know if you disagree, but I truly think she did everything possible to give this defendant a fair hearing before finally putting an end to the nonsense. The patience she showed was next level. I mean, I probably would have hit my limit in about 10 minutes, but she kept her cool the entire time. At the same time, it's kind of sad to watch these situations unfold. The judge really tried to give this woman every opportunity to explain herself, but we all knew where this was heading. And to anyone who lost brain cells sitting through this, my deepest apologies. I know the struggle. Sovereign citizens attempting to logic their way out of legal trouble is both cringeworthy and bizarrely entertaining. You could literally see her brain working overtime, scrambling to come up with an answer that made sense, but it just wasn't happening. It was like watching someone try to dance their way out of a corner with zero rhythm. A total fail. What do you guys think? How did the judge handle this one? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, a like and subscribe would mean a lot. I'll be posting every day, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.
You have to be able to understand these things. Otherwise, I've got to appoint an attorney for you. So you can't just say, I want to represent myself because I don't like the attorney or I don't like the process. This is the process that you're in. You live in Texas, you live in the United States. This is the law that applies to your case. So what do you not understand about the range of punishment if you're found guilty? And I'd be glad to explain it.
I don't understand because I've never did anything wrong.
That's what a jury's for, right? And so if you say you're not guilty, then you go in front of a jury and they determine after they listen to the evidence if you're guilty or not. That doesn't have anything to do with if they find you guilty, you understanding that they could send you to prison for between 2 years and up to 10 years. Do you understand that part? What are you, yes or no? No, you don't understand that. So, Ms. Pugh, it's my understanding, I'm not going to allow you to represent yourself because you don't understand the law and the process. So we're on question number 4 out of 15 that I'm supposed to ask you. So Mr. Jeffries is going to stay on your case.
I don't know when Mr. Jeffries on my
I don't care what you want at this point. You can't do it. All right, you can go back with the bailiff. I'm done. Go back with the bailiff.
He's not on my case.
Go back with the bailiff.
He's not on my case.
Welcome to the criminal appointment list.
Yeah, fun, Judge.
This was not meant to be any kind of punishment, I promise. So Mr. Jeffries, just, get ready like you would. Probably it's going to go straight onto a jury.
Right, I would
And
assume.
we'll just get it figured out that way.